The big lie: lenders don't lend, borrowers don't borrow. The bankers have created a world where words mean their opposites. Where lenders don't lend, borrowers don't borrow, creditors are defrauded, fraudsters receive credit, the productive are thieves, and the thieves are the heroes of the economy. All right, here's the simple explanation. When a bank lends you money, it doesn't actually give you anything of real value. Instead, it creates a promissory note, otherwise known as a Federal Reserve note, out of nothing at the time the loan is made. These notes from the bank explicitly say they are dollars, which are defined as a measurement of gold or silver. In other words, a Federal Reserve note is a promise to pay dollars that the bank doesn't have. But when you sign your loan agreement with the bank, you create your own promissory note out of thin air, where you promise to pay back the bank plus interest in real dollars through your labor, or lose your real property, foreclosure, repossession, wage garnishments, etc. The problem is that the bank's promise isn't backed by anything real. It's just a number on a screen, and they never intended to redeem the notes for gold or silver dollars. In fact, the banks bribed the government to make it illegal for you to ask the banks to fulfill their promises. Your promise, on the other hand, is backed by your hard work and property, and there are plenty of laws on the books that will punish you for not fulfilling your promises. Why is this fraud? The bank pretends its promissory note is equal to yours, but it isn't. Yours requires real sacrifice, labor, and collateral, while theirs costs them nothing. The bank doesn't actually risk anything. If you default, they seize real assets. If they lose, they just write off the loan and make the government bail them out with taxes and government debt. And here's the biggest scam. If you fail to pay not just the principal, but also the extra money and interest that never even existed, the bank says you are committing fraud. How does that make sense? The borrower is expected to work and provide real dollars, which were outlawed in 1933 domestically and in 1971 internationally. But why is the bank not required to fulfill its end of the bargain? Why isn't the bank required to pay recipient of its promissory note in real dollars? In reality, the bank never pays anything back to the borrower. They issue a fake promise, demand real payment in return, and then seize assets when people can't pay. That's the true fraud. One side, the borrower, is forced to give real value, while the other side, the lender, gives nothing and faces no consequences. And if the people decide they won't work for Federal Reserve notes anymore, the government taxes property and taxes barter trade in those notes, threatening to convict you of tax evasion if you opt out. So who is the real lender? You are. The bank isn't lending you anything. It's just swapping fake promises for your real work and property. That means the people, not the banks, are the true creditors. So who is the real government? You are. The government can't force you to do anything. That's against the law. In reality, the United States government has become spiritually possessed by the big lie and the big scam, and it's up to the people to expose and exorcise this anti-logic, anti-reason, anti-law, anti-life, anti-Christ demon from our land. The big scam. The bank starts with nothing and ends up with real assets, all because of a trick that makes people believe fake promises are equal to real work. This is why the entire system is fraud. It only survives because we accept their illusion instead of calling it what it is. A Ponzi scheme that will collapse as soon as people stop believing in the trick. Would you like me to